So with that, I think I'll give the floor to the Foreign Secretary.
Is that on? Sorry. In the last 2 days, there has been firing on the LOC and the international boundary between India and Pakistan. Officials of the two governments have been in contact as a consequence. Today, the Pakistani Foreign Ministry also issued a statement on that subject. To give you a full and accurate picture of what has transpired, I'm here to share with you the details of these developments. In doing so, I will be responding to 4 specific issues that have been mentioned by the Pakistani Foreign Ministry. 1, the incidents of 15 July. 2, the incidents of 16 July. 3, the allegation of downing an Indian drone by Pakistan. And 4, the allegation pertaining to an Indian helicopter maneuver close to the line of control. On 15 July, around 8:50, Pakistani Rangers resorted to sniper fire in the Akhnur sector, in which 1 BSF personnel sustained injury. The fire originated from a Pakistani Rangers post called Khalid Munir. This was followed by firing by flat trajectory weapons on our posts, and then in a different area by mortar fire. Separately, also in Akhnur, at about 10:15 hours, a mortar shell fell on our village Bhaiwal Bharat, in which an inhabitant, a lady, was killed and 3 others injured. As per our procedures, DIG BSF in Jammu sought to make telephonic contact with Sector Commander Sialkot 4 times between 10:45 and 12:30 yesterday. He received no response. Upon receiving this information, our National Security Advisor spoke to our High Commissioner Raghavan in Islamabad at 11:30 hours yesterday, asking him to take this up with the Pakistani government. We sought an end to the firing as well as corrective steps on their part. Immediately thereafter, NSA spoke to High Commissioner Abdul Basit on similar lines in New Delhi. There was no response from the Pakistani government to our démarche. Instead, intermittent firing continued in the Akhnur sector till 16:15 hours yesterday. Therefore, at 1700 hours, NSA again spoke to both our High Commissioner, who had taken up this matter with the Pakistani Foreign Secretary immediately, and with High Commissioner Basit. At 17:30 hours yesterday, High Commissioner Basit finally got back to NSA, conveying that the firing had been initiated by India and that an Indian drone had been brought down by Pakistan. The Pakistani Foreign Secretary spoke on similar lines when High Commissioner Raghavan contacted him again at that time. NSA naturally inquired of High Commissioner Basit why, in that case, the conversations were not initiated by the Pakistani side. He offered to check the drone allegation, but pointed out that this was unrelated to maintaining peace and tranquility on the border. He emphasized the seriousness of the unprovoked firing by Pakistan and conveyed that we would retaliate if it continued. Accordingly, yesterday night, our forces retaliated. This morning, High Commissioner Basit spoke to NSA, mentioning that there had been casualties and damage on the Pakistani side. On 16 July, at 01:35 hours, there was an infiltration attempt by 3 suspected terrorists in the Jammu sector at Indreshwar Nagar. They were given covering fire by Pakistani post Jamshed. As our forces retaliated, the exchange of fire expanded to include some nearby posts. The Pakistani side also resorted to mortar firing, which was responded to effectively by us. in view of this firing, which continued into the morning, I instructed our High Commissioner in Islamabad at 0815 hours to urgently speak to the Pakistani Foreign Secretary. He did so, and I myself also had a conversation with High Commissioner Basit at 0840 hours today. Our High Commissioner in Islamabad had a meeting with the Pakistani Foreign Secretary at 0915 hours this morning. This meeting was requested by the Pakistani side yesterday evening, presumably in response to the day's developments. The Pakistani Foreign Secretary handed over a note verbal that refers to developments of 15 July that were raised by the Indian side the same day. He also orally brought up the morning's exchange of fire. Through the note, the Pakistani government has now sought to shift responsibility for the firing on the Indian side. Two additional issues were raised. One pertains to the alleged downing of a drone purportedly from India. The photograph of the drone in question indicates that it is not of Indian design, nor of any UAV category held in the inventory of the Indian Armed Forces. It appears to be of Chinese design and is commercially available off the shelf. Insofar as the allegation of the helicopter maneuver is concerned, this has already been taken up and settled through an exchange of hotline messages between local formation commanders at Titwal on 12-13 July. The helicopter flight was in connection with a counter-terrorism operation in which 3 terrorists were neutralized. The Pakistani side raised the issue of our helicopter flight, and we had clarified that it was well within the mutually accepted distances from the LOC in India. That the Pakistani government 4 days later is raising a controversy on a settled issue speaks for itself. At Ufa, when the Prime Ministers of the two countries met on 10 July, it was agreed that DG BSF and DG Pakistan Rangers would meet. It was also agreed that our DGMOs would meet thereafter. We remain committed to steps that contribute to ensuring peace and tranquility on the border. However, there should be no doubt that any unprovoked firing from the Pakistani side would meet with an effective and forceful response from our forces, nor will we let down our guard against infiltration and counterterrorism. Cross-border terrorism. Thank you for your attention. I'd be happy to take questions.
Foreign Secretary does not have too much time. He has to go for another meeting, so please keep your questions very short. Okay, yes, Ashish.
And no supplementaries.
And no supplementaries, yes.
फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी, मेरा सवाल ये है कि जब इस तरह से उफा में टॉक्स के बाद लगातार पाकिस्तान की तरफ से क्रॉस बॉर्डर फायरिंग, गलत आरोप भारत पर, आप कह रहे हैं कि भारत कमिटेड बातचीत के लिए, एनएसए लेवल की टॉक्स ऐसे माहौल में हो पाएगी जबकि आप भी खुलकर कह रहे हैं कि क्रॉस बॉर्डर फाइटिंग नहीं रुकी तो भारत रिटेलिएट करेगा, ऐसे में बातचीत का स्कोप कहाँ है और क्या होगी और प्रीपोन करने का कोई गुंजाइश है क्या एनएसए लेवल टॉक्स?
नहीं, देखिए एनएसए लेवल टॉक्स अभी तक तय नहीं हुए, माने एनएसए लेवल टॉक्स होने जो होंगी वो तय हुआ है, कब होगा वो तो पोस्टपोन की, माने द क्वेश्चन डजंट अराइज. What is our position is very clear, which is we remain committed to steps that contribute to peace and tranquility on the border. But if there is unprovoked firing, if there is infiltration, if there is cross-border terrorism, there would be a response.
One of the mechanisms that was also agreed upon in UFA was that the BSF DG and the Rangers, they would meet, and the DGMOs, especially at a time when again the hostility and the tension seem to be rising along LOC and IB. Isn't this the appropriate time then to have such a meeting, if at all that meant anything?
Well, thank you for that opinion. I think in our case, what will happen in the next few days, I really don't want to predict. I am here today to really explain to you the sequence of events and give you the details so that all of you have a clear picture, because my sense is that there were different parts of it which were coming out, and we think it is, in fairness, we should give you a very frank and transparent account of what has been happening.
Akhilesh Suman.
Sir, in UFA we were there and the talks were very positive. We were also surprised that how foreign secretaries of the two countries came. So what happened? Why Pakistan went in such a good talk and such a good joint statement came, and then thereafter such a nuisance is being created? Was there any pressure on Pakistani side for that?
No, look, I don't think it would be fair on my part to speculate. I mean, my only purpose in coming here is to give you a very straight account of what has happened on the border. Why, someone opened fire on us is something really for which they are answerable.
Nidhi Razdan.
What is the assessment, though, Foreign Secretary, here about why this is happening, particularly after the agreement in UFA? Is there a sense that the Pakistani army is putting pressure on the government there?
No, look, again, these are not sort of avenues that we can go down. It is not for us to speculate or to try to analyze other people's motivations and thinking. I can only share with you the facts on the ground, and the facts on the ground are exactly what I have put before you.
Suhasini.
Foreign Secretary, one quick clarification, which is that you said it is the NSA who spoke to High Commissioner Basit. You haven't spoken to him at any point?
No, NSA spoke to High Commissioner Basit yesterday twice, and this morning once. I spoke to High Commissioner Basit in the morning once.
My question really is the fact that the National Security Advisor of our country spoke to the High Commissioner once in the morning, had to remind him again, and then the firing at the LOC continued. Is this not a very serious upgradation or upscaling of violence compared to even the last few weeks?
Well, look, the nature of the firing was serious, which is why the conversations took place, and which is why we took the responses that we did. So I think I really wouldn't question your question.
Hello, sir. Hi. Can you tell us when and where the National Security Advisors are going to meet?
Well, it hasn't been decided when. What was agreed to in UFA was that they were to meet in Delhi.
Srinjoy.
Sir, you said that if there is firing, if there is infiltration, there would be a response. Now, sir, can you clarify what kind of response? Because these words are yours. Can you indicate what kind of response you are considering?
Not really. I mean, not really means not really would I like to specify to you.
What are the options?
I mean, look, that's not something I would discuss at a press conference.
India-Pakistan relationship, usually seems to be going one step forward and two steps backward. Do you think it's really going to upset the whole? It's a setback for the Indian-Pakistan relationship that was being, again, starting from a new point in UFA.
No, look. Again, let me make this very clear. As one of your own colleagues said just now, there was a very positive meeting in UFA. There were outcomes of UFA. It was just a few days ago. And we remain committed to doing whatever is necessary to ensure peace and tranquility on the border. And as I pointed out, there were understandings for DG BSF and DG Park Rangers and the DGMOs to meet. So we remain committed to that.
Mr. Kaushik.
My simple question is, do you think that peace talks are possible in this atmosphere?
Look, I think my statement made it very clear that if the intention or the inclination is to strengthen peace and tranquility on the border and do the meetings that we have agreed to do, we remain committed to that. If on the other hand there is unprovoked firing and there is infiltration and cross-border terrorism, then obviously the situation is different. So that choice is not ours.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned that this drone, which the Pakistanis are alleging was an Indian drone which they shot down, it appears to have been of Chinese design and commercially available off the shelf. Can you just elaborate on this, what you really want to say? And there have also been reports that this was a Chinese drone which was being operated by the Pakistani Punjab police, and the Pakistan army was not aware of the drills and they shot it down. So is that what you're trying to say actually?
No, look, I can't say very much because we have limited information. I think we have seen a picture or pictures of this drone which have been put out. And looking at those pictures, whatever other comments we are able to make at this stage, we have made, which is namely that it's not a drone of Indian design. Two, it's not the kind of drone that we have in the inventory of the Indian Armed Forces. To us, it looks like a off-the-shelf Chinese-designed drone. I mean, that's as much as I can say. Beyond that, it would not be, I cannot draw more conclusions than that on the basis of a photograph that we've seen.
Mr. Secretary, the Prime Minister Modi accepted an invitation to visit Pakistan next year. Do these latest tensions derail those plans? Will it affect those plans?
No, look, I think at the moment we are hoping to see a return of peace and tranquility to the border. That is the focus of what we are looking at. I wouldn't go as, that far into the future at this point of time.
Geeta Mohan.
There was a format that was discussed, and in the outcome that we saw in UFA, that is NSAs to meet, DGMOs to meet, and DGPSs to meet. In the meeting that took place today, the review meeting, was there a discussion or decision on whether if NSAs will be meeting earlier, or would it be wiser for the DGMOs to meet before the NSAs meet? Meaning a military-to-military exchange more important, or a DGBSF meeting more important before the NSAs meet?
No, look, I think all the discussions on this subject within the government today have focused largely on how we are responding to a situation and, what in a sense do we communicate in terms of our position. It's limited to that.
Ranjit Kumar.
Yeah, normally the two DGMOs talk to each other every Tuesday. So did they have any conversation?
I really don't have information on that.
Nazir.
I would check up and request Vikas to give you that information.
The day the day before yesterday, you refused to subscribe to the view that Mr. Sardar
I have no idea what you are talking about.
The day before yesterday.
I wasn't here day before yesterday.
I mean, the day.
Okay. Yes.
Do you think that these developments over the last 24 hours are now a step back to the UFA
Same
initiative?
question he has already answered before, so please.
No, look, I think at the moment the issue for us is stabilizing the border, making very clear our position, both the willingness to work with the Pakistani side on strengthening peace and stability, as well as our determination to protect our sovereignty and security.
फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी, रमजान के कुछ दिन बचे हैं, लेकिन इस माहौल में इस तरह की स्थिति पैदा हुई है कि आपको लगता है कि सिर्फ इन्फ्लेटेशन के लिए सब कुछ हो रहा है या कुछ और भी आपको दिखाई दे रहा है?
ये देखिए, मैंने कहा ना कि मैं जो दूसरों के मन में है मुझे स्पेकुलेट करना ठीक नहीं है. वो तो आपको वो प्रश्न उनसे पूछना चाहिए.
Foreign Secretary, in the meeting with the Indian High Commissioner, did Pakistan give any evidence about the alleged shooting out that drone? Any evidence did they give out?
Well, I think my understanding of that meeting was that the issue came up, and our High Commissioner said that if there were details, we'd be happy to look at it. And I'm not aware of any subsequent development to this meeting. This meeting took place around 9:15 in the morning today.
Foreign Secretary,
development, does it indicate that the UFA declaration was ineffective to bridge the trust deficit between the two countries?
Look, the UFA, what came out of UFA was in a sense, shall I say, an outcome of a meeting between the two prime ministers. Now, it cannot be anybody's case that the two prime ministers should not meet, or that when they meet, they should not have a positive conversation. And obviously, if they have a positive conversation, then it would be reflected and reported positively. But our point is that while at UFA there were understandings, I mean, it was not that in UFA people were not unaware of the problem. I mean, that it was precisely because there were ongoing issues that we had an agreement that the DGBSF and Park Rangers would meet, that the DGMOs would meet. So the issues were there. The issues were there. At UFA, some suggestions were discussed and agreed upon on how to go forward. So the problem right now is that in the last 2 days, the situation on the border has worsened. Some unprovoked actions took place. They met with the right response from our side. So we'll then have to see what happens after that.
Mr. Foreign Secretary, is India satisfied with the response of Pakistan? And can one conclude that since India is satisfied, that is why India is going ahead with UFA commitment? Talking to Pakistan.
No, I am a little perplexed by your question. When you say we are satisfied with the Pakistani response to what?
Meaning the firing.
Well, I think somewhere perhaps I have not made myself clear. Yesterday we had communicated our concern on what was happening. We had indicated that in case the firing continued, there would be a retaliatory response. There was a retaliatory response.
Sir, we are saying that we will maintain peace and tranquility on the border, but in past, the firing has scaled up. From small arm, now they are firing mortars on our side. And targets have also changed. Earlier they were targeting security installations, now they are targeting civilian villages and others. Can you elaborate what kind of response we are expecting from Indian government?
Well, I think those have been the substance of my remarks, which is that if there is unprovoked firing, if there is infiltration, if there is cross-border terrorism, then we will take whatever steps we need to counter that. And what I'm here to tell you is that what has been happening in the last 2 days is exactly that, and that there has been a response from our side accordingly.
Foreign Secretary has to leave now. Last 2 questions.
है कि जो म्यांमार तरह की हमने कार्रवाई हम लोग करें।
नहीं, थोड़ा सा आपका ऑडियो खराब हो गया वहाँ। मुझे देखिए, what is happening on the western border, I don't see any connection with what happened along the India-Myanmar border.
Last question.
Sir, it's just a clarification that you said initially on the helicopter operation, 3 terrorists were neutralized. So whether we have identified them and what we are doing with them?
I am not completely sure of the factual position on that. So I really don't want to say something that would mislead you. It is possible that we have identified them. Again, since I don't have a ready answer, if I can get you one, I would be happy to share that.
Foreign Secretary has to leave now, so I think we'll have to keep it at that. Thank you.